Hello, boys and girls. So I reposted a tweet on my Instagram that another one of my followers posted, and the post was... So everybody's laughing, ha ha ha, and then a couple of white people decide to show their butthurtedness. But there were a couple comments from one user that specifically stood out to me. Her comments were the following.
People aren't getting killed just because they're black. The recent instances had nothing to do with racism. Those men posed a threat. In each instance, they were much larger and hostile toward the cop. Please, enlighten me.
Careful, my love, your privilege is showing. 1. Had any of the victims been white, the police force would not have found a reason to withhold and or place illegitimate evidence at the scenes of the crimes. 2. Had any of the victims been white, their bodies would not have been left in the streets like undomesticated animals for hours and hours on end. 3. Had any of the victims been white, said victim would have been shot in the foot. Said victim would have been shot in the leg. Said victim would have been shot in the hip. Said victim would not have been shot fatally. Police brutality is alive and well, and the very people that I'm supposed to trust with my life are the very people taking the lives of my brothers. Now, in no way am I saying that every officer on the police force abuses their power. I have met some very, very kind-hearted police officers. And for those officers that do their jobs the right way, protecting our communities and not instilling fear in them, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for the work that you put in. Thank you for putting your life on the line every single time that you put on that badge. But unfortunately, as we all should know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't never seen so many police officer advocates on Twitter in my life. Just an abundance of white people on Twitter completely disregarding the issue, talking about,
my dad's a cop, he is a good cop, and he don't do shit like that, and he don't deserve to be ridiculed, and the police force as a whole should not be discredited the way that black people are trying to discredit them.
Bitch, do you want a motherfucking cookie? Does your father want a cookie? Am I supposed to disregard the bloodshed of my brothers because yo daddy don't ruthlessly kill young black men? Is he supposed to receive a reward for that? Ladies and gentlemen, tweeting shit like that, let me give you a reward. 1 second, it's in my pocket. Y'all, this is the best advice I have ever given anybody. Shut the fuck up. Let us trail back to the Instagram post. Now, at this point, people of all nationalities are arguing with the young white girl, and everyone's basically letting her know that her privilege is speaking for her. And she replies, I have never received privilege for being white. Oh, you know what? That must be nice. Going through life day to day, not even realizing just how fucking privileged you are. I certainly wish that I could say the same thing. I wish I didn't have to worry about being followed in the mall or white people being surprised by the way that I speak or getting pulled over while I'm driving through the suburbs for absolutely no fucking reason. And I drive a white BMW, and 90% of the time I can certainly count on an officer to ask me, are you sure this is your car, boy? How'd you get it? How much money do you make? What's your occupation? No offense, officer, but I thought you were supposed to be asking for my license and registration and my auto fucking biography. You know what else I would love to be able to do? I would love to be able to buy my mother a home without going to jail. Never told this story. Figured now would be a good time. Now, I currently live in Orlando, Florida. I've lived here for almost 2 years, but the rest of my family still lives in Dayton, Ohio, where I'm from. So I'm visiting my friends and family in Ohio over the summer, and in the process trying to buy my mother a new home. So one day I'm house shopping with 2 of my friends who also happen to be African American, and we've looked at 5 different homes, and we're heading to the 6th one. Now, at the 5th home, there's a house across the street, front door's open, the dogs are in the door, barking their fucking lives away. So our presence didn't really go unnoticed. And for each of the homes that I viewed that day, I had permission from the real estate agents to view them myself. And they sent me the codes to the key boxes because I prefer to view homes by myself. I don't need someone spitting bullshit into my ear about the property. I'm a visual person. I would rather just see it myself. I didn't have any problems doing this before. So my friends and I view the 5th property, leave the 5th property, headed to the 6th property, and we're only about 30 seconds away from the neighborhood that we just departed from when a cop comes rolling around the corner, and then another cop comes rolling around the corner. And the funny thing about the situation is I literally turn to my friends and I say, damn, they're in a hurry. I wonder who done did what. Oh, they in trouble. Cops passed us and make a U-turn. They pull me over. I'm oblivious as fuck to what's going on. All I know is I got 15 minutes left to get to my last house. I kid you not, 8, 9, 10 cop cars come out of nowhere and surround around us. The first two officers have their guns up. They're screaming, "Get out of the car." Side note, I'm in Fairborn, Ohio. That is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio, where I'm from. If you are black in Dayton, you already know what to expect when you're in Fairborn, Miamisburg, Centerville, Springboro. You already know. So these officers have their guns pointed at me and my friends. I've obviously done nothing wrong. I'm scared shitless, and I honestly don't even know whether or not I had no clue what these officers were capable of. I get out of the car, I've got my hands up, I ask the officers, "What is the problem?" In the sweetest voice possible. They handcuff us, they throw us in the back of the police cruisers like animals. For a minute, nobody's telling me what's going on, and quite frankly, I'm scared. Finally, the officer says, "We got a call from a resident reporting vandalism and a house invasion by 3 colored young men." I kid you not, they said color, in a stolen vehicle. And by stolen vehicle, they meant my BMW. I'm sitting there in complete shock, and I say, "Officer, firstly, that vehicle belongs to me. Secondly, I was not vandalizing nor breaking into that home. I had permission from the realtor to be in the home because I am trying to buy one for my mother." Of course, they all bamboozled and shit and started asking for my life story. They check our records and remove the handcuffs from my friends, but do not remove mine. I said, "What's going on?" "Well, apparently you have an unpaid citation in Montgomery County, so we're going to have to take you downtown." I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I said, "Sir, can you call the court to validate this charge?" He said, "No, we cannot." Newsflash, but they can though. Long story short, my friends did have to bail me out of jail, and as I was headed downtown, I looked out the window and thought to myself, I can understand if I broke the law. And in all honesty, I have. Make sure you guys pay your speeding tickets, because if you don't, they will put warrants out for your arrest and they will arrest you. I've been there. Listen to me, and every single time I was arrested, which was only like twice, for an unpaid ticket, I always took personal responsibility. I said, this is my fault. This is not because I'm black, it's because I'm stupid. And as I was staring out of the window in the back of this police cruiser in handcuffs, I said to myself, these motherfuckers can do whatever they want. It was then that I realized that I did not have to break the law to be a criminal. I break the law every single day by committing the worst crime possible, being black in America. To the white people, to the people of every nationality that understands that this is a problem, thank you for speaking up. Thank you for holding our hands. Thank you for not remaining silent. Instead of sitting back on Twitter trying to justify why a young black male deserves to be murdered cold in the streets of America. And please do not give me black on black crime as justification for shit like this. Because basically what you're telling me is because black people kill other black people, white people are allowed to kill black people too. No one should be killing anyone. And I do not condone the violence. I do not condone the looting and the arson that some of my brothers and sisters have resorted to. But I also do not judge them. Not for a single second will you see me judge them. And do you know why? White people, funny story. If you take a look at history, violence is how you've obtained anything that you've ever wanted. The system is corrupt, the system is unjust, and I can only be so surprised because the system was built on white supremacy. It was never built to protect us. I don't want a pat on the back. I don't want an apology. I want change. Okay, all lives matter. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. Funny thing about it though, you could have fooled me. If I have to go out to these streets and I have to scream Black Lives Matter to remind you that Black Lives Matter, to prevent another one of my young brothers being murdered senselessly in these streets, then that's what I'm going to do. Black people, I love you. Asian people, I love you. Mi Latinos y mi Latinas, te amo. And white people, I love you. Please understand that this is not an attack. This is retaliation.